Hi, how are you doing today? I'm good, thank you for asking. So, what brings you into the Click Clack Shack today? Okay, so you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons? And what's your expertise level? Are you just total beginner? Oh, like watching YouTube videos about it and stuff? That's really fun. Well, I have something that I think could help you out. Oh, I hear this. I have a D&D starter set that might be perfect for someone like you that's a total beginner and is looking to get into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, it's real cheap. It's just $20 and it contains everything you need to get started, including dice. I know that we sell dice here at the Click Clack Shack, but it would actually already come in the box. What do you think? We can take it open. Take it out, break it open, and take a look. It's everything you need to start playing the world's greatest role-playing game. The world's greatest. I mean, that's a bold claim. Let's see on the back. It says, explore subterranean labyrinths. Plunder hordes of treasure, even, I can't read. Battle legendary monsters. The Dungeons and Dragons starter kit is your gateway to action-packed stories of the imagination. So this box contains the essential rules of the game, plus everything you need to play heroic characters on perilous adventures in worlds of fantasy. So let's see, it has a 64-page adventure book with everything the dungeon master needs to get started, a 32-page rulebook for playing characters levels 1 through 5, 5 pre-generated characters. Now this is really useful because a lot of times people, when they get started in role-playing games, you can often get a little bogged down with just the idea of making a character, making this brand new character in this world. It's a little overwhelming, and this takes all the guesswork out of it by going ahead and giving you some pre-generated characters, so you can just jump right into playing. You don't even have to worry about making a character. You will have to give it a name and stuff, but you don't have to worry about stats, anything like that. I'll show you in a minute. And it also has 6 game dice, so 6 different polyhedrals. I'll show you. And then when you're ready, if you play through this and you enjoy it, you could expand your adventure with the 5th edition Player's Handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Monster Manual. And we sell all of those here at the Click Clack Shack. Just saying. Let me open it up and show you exactly what you're gonna get. It's coming. There we go. Well, there's a dragon, and they're in the dungeon, I guess. So here, right on top, we've got the dice. In a little bag, not opened. They're quite pretty. I don't know if you can see, but they're kind of a glittery blue. They're a little shiny. And we've got the D6, the D20, the D10, the D12, the D4, and there's no D100, just 4, 8, 6, okay, yeah, there's no D100, but that's, I don't guess you don't need them for this. Okay, so your dice, and then look at this rulebook. Wow, this is nice. And you get the Lost Mine of Vandelver. Ooh, yeah, this thing is chunky. Yeah. And then here's what I was talking about. here are some preset characters. So for example, you got this one who is a human fighter level 1 with a folk hero background, a lawful good alignment, and strength +2, dexterity +3, constitution +2, intelligence +0, wisdom +1, and charisma -1. You've already got personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, proficiencies. They speak Common and Elvish. And then on the back, there's info about humans, about fighters, and about the background. This is fun. Your parents lived in the prosperous village of Thunder Tree, east of the city of Neverwinter, and at the edge of the Neverwinter Wood. Ooh, I can just picture it. And then there's all about gaining levels. So that's one. The next one I see, you've got a high elf wizard. There's quite a few. How many did it say there were? I think 6. This one is a high elf wizard level 1 with an acolyte background and a chaotic good alignment. Chaotic good is always fun. Wow, they speak Common, Elvish, Draconic, Dwarvish, and Goblin. Quite the knowledgeable guy. Intelligence +3, yeah, so Fey ancestry. Their personality traits. I use polysyllabic words that convey the impression of erudition. Also, I've spent so long in the temple that I have little experience dealing with people on a casual basis. They sound fun. And information about elves, about wizards. This character spent their life dedicated to Ogma, the all-seeing god of knowledge, and spent years learning the lore of the multiverse. Wow. This is a rogue level 1 Lightfoot halfling with a criminal background, neutral alignment. Interesting. And on the back, information about halflings, rogues. They're from the town of Fendelin, which is built on the ruins of an older settlement. And this one is a hill dwarf, cleric level 1, soldier background. And I think we're back to the beginning. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're just thick sheets of paper. So 5 characters you can choose to play from. And it's got everything you need. 6 dice. And this full adventure Lost Mine of Phandelver. I mean, look at this. And I mean, if you take a quick look, you'll see maybe a dragon. There's a dragon. There we go. Oh, this beautiful illustrations of some of the kind of creatures. Fun stuff, right? But I thought we'd take a second look at the rulebook, because if you don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, you might want to just hear a little bit more about the actual game itself before you buckle down and purchase this. Okay, so why don't we have a little quick-see look? Move this somewhere else. And let me just tell you that if you are interested in getting this and in getting into RPGs or Dungeons and Dragons, we do have D&D nights every so often here at the Click Clack Shack. The next one is in about 2 weeks. You can sign up online and then come, and we've got different tables set up and running different campaigns, so you can go ahead and join, and I'll be there. I'll be DMing that night. Awesome. It's so good to hear that you'll join. Okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Very pretty illustrations. So let's see. Unlike a game of make-believe, D&D gives structure to the story as a way of determining the consequences of the adventurer's actions. Players roll dice to determine whether their attacks hit or miss, and whether their characters can scale a cliff, roll away from the strike of a magical lightning bolt, or pull off some other dangerous tasks. Anything's possible, but the dice make some things more probable than others. So this says here, getting started, if this is your first time playing Dungeons & Dragons, which it is, start by reading the rest of this chapter, and it will tell you most of the important rules you need to play the game. So someone will need to be the Dungeon Master. It's unfortunately not a solo single-player game, so you'll need either one more person, or like I said, you could come back to our D&D nights, and I could DM for you. And then once you've read the chapter, take a look at the first few pages of the adventure book. That's the one I just showed you. And then from here, look over the rest of this book. You don't need to memorize everything, but it helps if you know where to find the rules. Each of the players choose one of those characters that we just looked at, and it's up to you to turn these bare bones characters into people. Give them names, describe their appearance, and bring them to life while playing through the adventures. Give them a voice, give them likes, dislikes, personality traits. It'll be so much fun to bring them to life. And if you have more than 5 players, it's okay for 2 players to use the same characters, as long as they make the details of the character distinct. Okay. Because it is technically 2 to 5 players, but this is letting you say, okay, you can have more than 5, you just have to make the characters distinct. Yeah, so it comes with a D4, D6, a D8, a D10, a D12, and a D20. Structure of play. There is a lot to go through. This is what I mean by it. It's a lot to get into. Here's how you do strength checks, dexterity checks, constitution checks, intelligence checks, wisdom checks, charisma checks, for all your different attributes. This chapter is devoted to combat, the order of combat, initiative, actions you can take, then how damage and healing is applied. Here's a chapter on adventuring. So when you're not in combat, you might be traipsing through the woods, you might be resting, you might be trying to hunt. And here's a little bit about gaining XP, so you can level up. Here's the different weapons and armor, talking about what damage they do, the weight, the properties. So there's a club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, spear. Then we've got some ranged, crossbow, short bow, more melee, battle axe, great sword, long sword, maul, morning star, rapier, scimitar, sword, short sword, trident, warhammer, crossbow heavy, longbow. And I guess that was it for weapons. And then here's all your adventuring gear that you could have. Food, drink, and lodging, mounts and other animals, tack and harness. Then a whole chapter devoted to spell casting, because at least one of those was a spell casting kind of character, so you'll need to know about magic. That is a big aspect, of course, of this fantasy world we're in, as magic exists and we can wield it to our advantage. Here's some spell lists: cleric spells, wizard spells. the schools of magic. See how many spells there are? See, we've got like Aid, Burning Hands, Cure Wounds, Dancing Lights, Fireball, Invisibility, ooh, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. There's so many spells, right? And then at the very end there's an appendix of conditions, different conditions the character could be in. You could be blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, or unconscious. So at any point the DM could tell you that you are in one of those conditions. And then there's a big lengthy explanation of what that means and what it means for the character, and is that going to do some damage or not. And I also want to show you, this is cool because this is like one of my favorite parts. In the back of this adventuring book, exciting, there was a bestiary, which I love. I find it really fun to learn about the different, monsters and stuff in games. So, okay, let's look. You got a bugbear, commoner, cultist. This is a doppelganger. So they can use its action to polymorph into a smaller medium humanoid it has seen. Very cool. Evil mage, flame skull, cool giant spider, goblin crick. I gotta get my teacher reading on. I'm not so good at that. Hobgoblin. So there's goblin and there's hobgoblin. Two very different things. Don't get them messed up. They'll get angry about it. Mormesk the Wraith. That's a very specific beastie. Nesnar the Black Spider. Nothic, Ochre Jelly, and Ogre. Not exactly Shrek, is he? No. The Orc, the Owl Bear. I don't know why that's always one of my favorites. I just like the idea of an owl bear. A Sturge. That's a Sturge. Wolf, Zombie, and a young green dragon. Yeah, so there's quite a lot in here. That might be the young green dragon. Of different locations throughout the adventure. Oh, here's the owl bear. Yeah. It's so cute. I just really like owls, so I like owl bears. Oh, there's a ghoul. Ooh, flaming skull. Very cool. Oh yeah, here's Appendix B of all the monsters. And what happened with the monsters' reactions, traits, challenges, armor class, speed. And then it goes into the different monsters in the bestiary that I just showed you. Yeah. So what do you think? Does this all sound pretty good to you? Let me read you a little bit more from the beginning. Okay, here's the background. Are you ready? More than 500 years ago, clans of dwarves and gnomes made an agreement known as the Phandelver's Pact. by which they would share a rich mine in a wondrous cavern known as Wave Echo Cave. In addition to its mineral wealth, the mine contained great magical power. Human spellcasters allied themselves with the dwarves and gnomes to channel and bind that energy into a great forge, called the Forge of Spells, where magic items could be crafted. Times were good, and the nearby human town of Phandalin prospered as well. So Phandelver and Phandalin. But then, disaster struck when orcs swept through the north and laid waste to all in their path. A powerful force of orcs, reinforced by evil mercenary wizards, attacked Wave Echo Cave to seize its riches and magic treasures. Human wizards fought alongside their dwarf and gnome allies to defend the Forge of Spells, and the ensuing spell battle destroyed much of the cavern. Few survived the cave-ins and tremors, and the location of Wave Echo Cave was lost. For centuries, rumors of buried riches have attracted treasure seekers and opportunists to the area around Phandalin, but no one has ever succeeded in locating the lost mine. In recent years, people have resettled the area. Phandalin is now a rough and tumble frontier town. More important, the Rock Seeker brothers, a trio of dwarves, have discovered the entrance to Wave Echo Cave, and they intend to reopen the mines. Unfortunately for the Rock Seekers, they're not the only ones interested in Wave Echo Cave. A mysterious villain known as the Black Spider controls a network of bandit gangs and goblin tribes in the area, and his agents have followed the Rock Seekers to their prize. Now the Black Spider wants Echo Cave for himself, and he is taking steps to make sure no one else knows where it is. That is the premise of the adventure. So if you come back in a couple weeks for our D&D night, if you want to do this adventure, I'll maybe reread that to you, just to remind you. But the Lost Mine of Phandelver is divided into 4 parts. It says, I won't go much further because I don't want to spoil it for you if you are interested. But this is an adventure for 4 to 5 characters of first level. So it is a beginning adventure. And during the first course of the adventure, you will advance to level 5. It's set a short distance from the city of Neverwinter. Remember, we read about Neverwinter. That was near, or was it from where the human is from? It's either where the human is from, or it was like next to where the human is from. And the Sword Coast region of the Forgotten Realms setting. This book is written for the Dungeon Master. It contains a complete Dungeons & Dragons adventure, as well as descriptions for every creature and magic item that appears in the adventure. It also introduces the world of the Forgotten Realms, one of the game's most enduring settings, and it teaches you how to run a D&D game. The smaller book, which is that one that we looked at, is the Rulebook and contains the rules. So it's like rules that you might need to refer to, and this is the all-inclusive adventure book. So if you are more interested in playing, then it's not as necessary for you to look at this, but just maybe to read the rulebook and totally familiarize yourself with all the terms of the game and how the game works, how leveling up your character works, how taking an action works, how using your weapon would work. Whereas you wouldn't want to look at this because this would probably contain spoilers for the adventure. But if you are interested in being a DM for your friends, then you'll obviously probably want to run through this and just be familiar with this. So do you think you're maybe more interested in playing or DMing? I would definitely recommend that if you're new to the whole world, if you're new to D&D and you're new to RPGs, definitely would recommend that you leave the DMing to someone who's played before. Yeah, come by to our D&D night, and then you'll be a little bit more familiar. Just so you know, the DM is a referee, a narrator, the DM plays monsters and villains that you battle against. Yeah. Here's rules to game by, just like advised rules for the GM, like be consistent, be fair, make it up. It's not a competition. And you can improvise ability checks. Oh, look, a map. Maps are like my favorite thing ever. So it was talking about the Neverwinter Wood. It's the Neverwinter Wood. Thunder Tree. I think that was the town where this human is from, because it said on the border of the Neverwinter Wood. There's also the Crypt Garden Forest, the Mirror of Dead Men, Sword Mountains, the Star Metal Hills, and the Crags. I just love a good map. I don't know what it is. And then there's a little key down here for what a city is and what ruins are, a town, road, so on and so forth. You start in the city of Neverwinter. There's a city. I didn't see that. I just saw Neverwinter Woods. Personally, I'm very excited. I have not played this adventure, so this is all new to me. I don't want to read any more though, actually. I think I'll run this one, Lost Mine of Fendelver. So, see, you think you want to get it? Alright. Exactly, and then, yeah, after you play with us, you could run it with your friends and know what to do. Let me put it back. I can get you a new copy, or I can give you this one. Okay. Don't forget to go over the rulebook. That'll definitely get you excited and know what to do when you come back and when you're playing yourself. It won't be like you're just thrown in the deep end. Plus, there's pictures. Okay. And then it also, of course, includes your dice, but if you do find yourself wanting more dice over the course of things, you can always come back, because we have lots of other little shiny Click Clacks at the Click Clack Shack. Yeah, we named it after dice, but we saw all things gaming, tabletop, and board games. Yeah. So, what do you think? Excited? Worried? Apprehensive? I know that we just threw a lot at you. Yeah, you just were introduced to so much. Yeah, I will warn you, it is an entire world you're getting yourself into. Some people just hear D&D and think, yeah, it sounds fun, but like, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And if you like the whole idea of role-playing games, I would definitely recommend you come back and see some of our other RPGs, because we do have other tabletop role-playing games that aren't D&D specifically, and they'll have other settings. Like, maybe you really like this whole role-playing aspect, but you don't necessarily love the whole medieval fantasy thing. We've got sci-fi games, we've got Star Wars ones. They don't all have to be said like that. No. So, again, there's a whole world. Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and get this over to you. We'll get you all checked out. And go on our website. That's where you can sign up for D&D night. It's in about 2 weeks. Yeah. I'll be here. I'll be DMing. And we can just, if you want, we could just do a solo campaign, just you and me. I'll just be your DM, and you can just be the sole player. That's fine, yeah. That way you can really understand what you're doing. I will hold your hand and guide you. Alright. Well, then I'll see you then. Yes, don't forget to bring your dice. I mean, we do have dice, but it's more fun to use your own dice, right? I don't like using other people's dice. I like to use my own dice. Okay. Alright, I'm so excited for you. I will see you in a couple weeks. Okay, have fun looking through the rulebook